That tank's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Properly mount secure the vehicle. Then from that tank, you want to come down. And this is your torsion hanger. Your torsion hanger. You got one here in the front. They're metal, not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds on both sides, right? And then you got bushings. They're operational. Then you have your torsion arm and your torsion bar on the other side. They're metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Then you want to inspect your leaf springs. Your leaf springs, they're metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Then you want to inspect your U-bolts. Your U-bolts are secured around your leaf springs down to your axle. It's metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Properly mounted and secured. Then you want to go straight down to your axle. Your axle's metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. From that axle, you want to go ahead and inspect your brake hoses. Your brake hoses are rubber, so there's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, no wears, tears, and not leaking. And then you go your brake chamber. You want to go ahead and inspect your brake chamber back here, right? Because you can see everything back here, right? So you got your brake chamber, they're metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds, properly mounted secure to the vehicle, and no leaks. Then you have your push rod. Your pins are in place and not missing, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Then you got your slack adjuster. Your slack adjuster should not have, with the brakes release, shouldn't have more than 1 inch when pulling it towards you. Then you have your S-cam. You got your S-cam right here. It's metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. And then you have that S-cam's connected to your brake shoes. Your brake shoes are metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Then your brake shoes are connected to your brake lining. Your brake lining shouldn't be worn dangerously thin. Then your brake lining, well, you can see it better right here, right? It's connected to your brake shoe. The brake shoe, it's metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal weld. It shouldn't have more than 1 inch of heat stretch. Then you want to inspect the inside rim. Make sure that inside rim is not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Properly mounted, secured. Then you want to inspect between the duals. Again, we're back here with the duals again. Make sure there's no gap between the rims, no daylight. Make sure there's no foreign objects between your dual tires, and make sure your tires are worn evenly on the sides. Should be worn all the way around evenly. The back of the tire should have 2 30-seconds of the tread depth and can be recapped on the back. Then you move your weight outside. Make sure there's properly mounted, secured. These rims, no illegal welds. Not cracked, bent, or broken. Then you move yourself outside to the outside tire. You also want to inspect the top of the tread. Make sure there's 2 32s of a second of tread depth. Can be recapped. These tires should be pumped at 100 psi at all times. Then you inspect the outside rim. It's metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Probably mounted secure to the vehicle. Then you want to make sure all your bolts and screws are present and tight. No rust or metal shavings or shiny threads indicating could be loose. And your hub seal is proper level, not leaking. All bolts and screws are present and tight. Properly mounted, secure to the vehicle. Then your rim. If I hadn't mentioned it, I forgot. It's metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Properly mounted, secured. Last thing, you check your stems, your air valve stems. They're metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Should have an air cap at all times, and you would check your tires with an air pressure gauge. And it's not cracked, bent, or broken. And make sure these tires are always pumped at 100 psi at all times. And then you want to check your door hooks here. Your door hooks or your chain hooks, right? Make sure they're properly mounted and secure. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Then you want to check these lights here. They're red in color. And these are your marker lights. They're red in color, properly mounted, secured, not cracked or broken, and operational. Then you want to check the back of the trailer right here. Let's see. Back of the trailer, you want to make sure the door themselves is metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. All your door hinges, make sure they're metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. All bolts and screws are present and tight, and none are missing. Then you want to check your locks. Your door locks, they're all metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Properly mounted, secured. Then you want to check your handles, your door handles. Your door handles are also metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Properly mounted, secured, and in the lock position. Then you got your toe chains. Or before we move to the not the toe chains, the door chains, right? You go to the gasket. Make sure your gasket's properly mounted and secured all the way around your doors. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. No wears, tears, or weather damage. Then you come straight down to your door chains or your holdback chains, whichever you want to call them. They're properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and no illegal welds. Then you want to check your DOT tape along the door and the bumper. Your DOT tape is 100% along, across, clean and clear, and visible and reflective. Then you want to check your lights. You have your lights. All your lights in the back are red in color, clean and clear, not cracked, operational. These lights here, their functions are your turn signals, four-way flashers, brake light, tail light. Your inside lights are just your brake light and tail light. Then you want to move down to your reflective lights. They're all red in color, clean, clear, not cracked, and operational, properly mounted, secured to the vehicle. Then you go straight down to your license plate. It's metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. Properly mounted, secured to the vehicle, and visible. Clean, clear, and visible. Then you have your license plate light. It's clean, clear, not cracked. Properly mounted, secured, and operational. Then you want to go straight down to your DOT bumper. It's metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. Properly mounted, secured to the vehicle. Then lastly, you got your mud flaps. Your mud flaps, they're rubber, so there's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. No wears, tears, or weather damage, and should be a minimum of 8 inches off the ground. And that concludes your pre-trip for the whole thing, for the trailer, your tandems, your back door, your drive axle, or your drive wheels, and your steering axle, and the engine compartment, and the door. We explained all that. You got your landing gear. On the side, you make sure all your rivets are in place. Your DOT stick tape is from red to white, clean and clear and reflective, at 50% all along down your trailer. And then the back door, again, you want to make sure you talk about that gasket all around the doors. The doors are metal, so you want to talk about those doors, right? Locking poles, hinges, DOT tape, your handles in the lock position, properly mounted, secured, right? Then you got your lights, your reflective lights, your plate, your door chains or your holdback chains, your DOT bumper, your mud flaps, and the DOT tape, and the license plate light. And that's it, man. You just pretty much covered the whole truck. And that concludes. So you want to make sure you inspect cross members and floor, that light, its functions, the tandem. You want to make sure your sliding tandem, all the metal along the tandem, which is your torsion hanger, your torsion arm, your torsion bar, your spring leaves, your U-bolts. Your U-bolts are connected down to your axle, properly mounted, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no illegal welds. Then you want to inspect that tank. Don't forget that metal tank. It's metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken, no leaks. Now make sure your tandem release arm is in the lock position. Your pins to your tandems are in place and not missing in the lock position. Your air lines 18 inches off the ground, properly mounted, secured, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and not leaking. Okay, remember that. And also, your brake system's the same. Make sure you inspect that chamber, your slack adjuster and push rod, your S-cam, your brake shoes, brake lining, and brake drum. Then you come and work your way out from your inners, your side tires or your inner tire. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. Worn evenly all the way around, not worn dangerously thin. Back tires can be recapped, 232 seconds of a tread depth. Make sure there's no foreign objects lodged in between your duals. Make sure there's no gap between your rims, indicating could be loose. It should be worn evenly in between the duals. Make sure they're not rubbing. And then same thing, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, not worn dangerously thin. The rims metal, not cracked, bent, or broken, no illegal welds. And same thing, hub seal is not leaking, proper level. All bolts and screws are properly mounted, secured. In all indication they could be loose. Then you got your bolts and screws again on your rim, properly mounted, secured. Properly mounted, secured. No rust, no shiny threads indicating it could be loose. And then you just check your valve stem, your air valve stem, metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. Properly mounted, secured, and no leaks. And you would check your air pressure with the air pressure gauge. Make sure these tires are pumped at 100 psi. Then go straight down to the landing gear. This landing gear also, make sure the whole assembly is called the landing gear. You got your landing legs, your landing feet, you got your connecting rod, and then you have your high gear, low gear on the other side, and your landing gear crank arm is in the lock position. Don't forget this too, apron, very important. Apron, skid plate, greased up, no daylight in between the skid plate and the apron. Your fifth wheel platform is properly mounted, secured to the frame. All bolts and screws are present and tight, none are missing. Your fifth wheel pins are in the lock position, they're present and tight, not cracked, bent, or broken, no illegal welds. And then your fifth wheel release arm is in the lock position. Make sure your locking jaws are locked around your kingpin, very important. If not, you lose your load, you lose your trailer. And everything is the same thing. Brakes are the same. Make sure you call it a torsion hanger and torsion bar. Make sure you include that shock. Don't forget the shock, your U-bolts, S-cam, same thing. Brake lining, your brake shoes, your brake lining, and then you got your brake drum. Make sure you don't forget that torque arm back there with your bushings for operational. The torque arm's metal, not cracked, bent, or broken, probably mounted, secured. No illegal welds, right? Same thing, everything. And then from here you move from the bottom to top down to your catwalks. Explain your hoses, clearance lights, headboard, glad hands. Make sure that rubber gasket's in place in the lock, and then they're not leaking, right? Make sure these lines aren't dragging along the catwalk. The same thing in the front, same thing. And that's pretty much it for this whole pre-trip. For the outside anyway.